cerebral and scientific. 6, as I said, looks for the guru. So they have the thinking center blocked. They want everybody else to do their thinking for them. They have what's called an inner committee, right? Not just an inner judge, but an inner committee where they sit down and say, what would this person do? Or what would that person do? Or what would that? And then from that committee, then they make the assessment as to what they would do. So learning how to integrate the thinking center or think for oneself is very helpful for the 6th. And again, 5 and 7 has a little more gut energy than 5 because they do a little bit more. But they're still thinkers. They still tend to be very intuitive people more than analytical, but they're still in their heads.
That explains. I was wondering what 7 was doing.
Yeah. They're always trying to come up with ideas. What can we do next? They're always in the future. And future type people are pretty much in that. See, whereas the 4 is always in the past, right? The melancholy. That's an interesting comparison, is the 4 and the 7. The 4 is the pessimist and the 7 is the optimist. But they all have some kind of eccentric energies going on, both.
Who operates in the present?
The 9 likes to be, well, the 3 is a doer, so in that regard, the 3 is very present. But they're oriented towards the future. You know, they're doing now, but they're always down the goal oriented. Yeah, so they're kind of future.
So I guess from 2 would be the present because they're presently helping.
They can be, yeah. The maternal, the nurturing type.
There.
Yeah, there could be a good presence. And 9 can be very present too if they're awake. If they're awake, I tend to be a slumberer, you know. So, and then, you know, the 8 can be very present. There's a lot of dynamic energy going on with an 8 for sure. They're here. They're definitely here, right? But again, they're still oriented toward the future because they want to win. The Tao is the 9. Taoism is very now. It's very, you know, things are okay as they are right now. Let's just flow with it and accept it. Be at peace. So at the highest level, that's what the 9 would be very present. But again, there's levels of development which we can get to. These are the types of issues each of the 3 centers tends to deal with. The doing center tends to deal with anger issues or the repression of anger. The 1, for instance, or the 9 don't want to admit that they're angry. You know, they were taught that it's bad to be angry, so they repress it. But there are anger issues. The 8 will give you their anger right away. They won't even think twice about it. They'll just say, hey, you know, whatever. Shame issues go on with the heart-centric people. You know, the anger tends to go inward, so to speak. And, you know, there can be issues with not enough, you know, I'm not good enough, or I'm not, whatever enough. Focused on kind of inferiority.
Blaming themselves.
Self-blame.
The anger.
Yeah, self-blame. Yeah, and the 1 can do that too. I mean, you know, these issues are not specific to just these areas, but they tend to be more focused on these types. For instance, the 1 can be very shameful. If they're not perfect, they're filled with shame. But generally speaking, this is the way it's broken down. Number 5, 6, and 7, the head-centric people or the thinking-centric people have fear issues. So it's anger, shame, and fear.
That makes sense. They would have fear issues. They think everything out to such a degree.
Right, to be safe. Right. I don't know if I'd say that was 7. 7 is kind of
What
a,
about 7?
I don't know. Somehow it just doesn't, it's kind of like, well, you don't know what I'm going to do next, so don't put me in a box, you know.
I'm interested in 7 because my husband is so typically a 7.
Oh, spontaneous?
Oh my God,
All
he
over
is
the
a
place.
7, and I'm not seeing this fear issue.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Well, the fear of the 7 is not well shown. It's very hidden. But what's going on for the 7 is they want to keep so busy, and there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
You know, there's a real reason why they want to keep busy. Again, if they're not busy, why can't they sit still? That's the question. And they're afraid to even think of that question. They don't even want to think about it because there's this deep feeling of, jeez, you know, I think it's deprivation. You know, they feel like if they're not doing anything, then they're empty. You know, it's a way to relieve anxiety. I think. There's
Makes
different-
sense.
Seven is the life of the party.
Yes, it is.
Very funny too. Really.
What happens to a 7 when they retire, though?
He's never going to retire.
No.
He'll never retire.
Because he would probably just die, right? Because he'd be so
No,
full.
he loves everything he does. Everything.
Life is my oyster.
Yeah, life is great. Every day is a new adventure. Enthusiastic. It's fun being with a 7.
Sure. Oh, they like you right up. But if you're around them too much, they'll drain you.
They exhaust you.
Exactly.
Yes.
This is what happens with the scrambling of the centers. As I was saying before, there's 2 of them that are pretty much dominant, and the other one that's not integrated in our lives. And this, each one of the 9 types has a specific arrangement. So the people who have the thinking and gut centers predominant in their lives usually end up with issues with maybe workaholism, aggression, or selfishness because they don't have the feeling center integrated. They're thinkers and doers, but they're not relational. So that can kind of, you know, it's hard to get along with people if they don't have a little bit of, you know, otherness in this type. For myself, I'm a thinking and feeling type. I have these 2 linked together. And what happens with that is we tend to get analytical or very inactive, as I said, the couch potato type, or fantasizing. And so a lot could be going up here or in here, but in real life, there's not much happening. You know? So I need to integrate the gut. And lastly, the feeling and gut type, which all 3 of you seem to have in common. Absent-mindedness, reactivity, gullibility can be predominant. Because again, the thinking center's out. You know, the more the thinking center gets involved there, then it gets integrated, and these things shift. You start to trust your own inner guidance system, so to speak. And you know, I'm working on a lot of that myself.